If you found yourself recently watching racing, maybe because of the F1 movie, and you're wondering what racing series to really dive into, let me make the case for Indycar. You're listening to On Track with Noe. Hey everyone, welcome back to On Track with Noe, and I am super excited because today we are going to talk all about IndyCar. And so I'm going to give you the reasons why you should follow it, why IndyCar is fast, fun, fan friendly, and possibly even the best kept secret in motorsports. So I want to start off with, why does IndyCar, why does it deserve your attention? Well, I'm going to give you a few reasons, all right? First off, IndyCar has insanely close competition. So you're going to have cars not as spread out as Formula One, especially on the ovals. And that's another thing about IndyCar, too, is that they not only race on street circuits or um, road courses, but they'll also race on ovals, with the biggest one being the Indy 500 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's a 2.5 mile oval. And so they're going speeds of 230 plus there. So it is wild. But they have insanely close competition. There's a lot of battles throughout the races. So it's a lot of fun to watch. And the races aren't really that long. They're about maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most. So they're a pretty easy watch. There really is no team dominance like F1. I say that with a huge asterisk because this year has been not that. Alex Palou and Chip Ganassi Racing, for some reason, have totally dominated the IndyCar season this year. But usually it doesn't happen. Usually have more than two or three winners in a season. So, and what I love about IndyCar is that really almost any driver can win on any given weekend. You know, usually in F1, you'll have like a certain team, maybe McLaren or Mercedes or Ferrari. You know, you probably wouldn't see a Sauber winning an F1 race. You probably wouldn't see a Williams winning an F1 race. IndyCar, you could have literally any driver could win if they get their strategy right. You could have Juncos Hollinger Racing. You could have AJ Foyt Racing. Um, these are some of the smaller teams that are not as well known, I guess, or as big as the bigger teams like Penske, Chip Ganassi, Arrow McLaren, and all that. So that's the cool thing, is that when you watch an IndyCar race, literally anyone could win. Like I mentioned earlier, there's such a variety of tracks. IndyCar is very unique in the open wheel category because they race on ovals. So they'll race on shorter ovals like Iowa, Milwaukee. They'll race on kind of a super speedway type ovals like Indianapolis, Nashville. Those are fun tracks to watch. There's a lot of passing. It's very intense. And then they have road courses, which is kind of like Barber Motorsports Park or Mid Ohio, Road America. That's on my list, by the way, to go to Road America every year when the IndyCar series go there. I have a big case of FOMO, so I would love to go up to Road America one day and see a race up there. And you also have street circuits. So you have like you'll race in the streets of Toronto. Long Beach is a very popular IndyCar race that they have towards the beginning of the season. There's going to be a new one in 2026 in Austin, Texas, or not Austin, Texas, but Dallas, Texas. So they have a lot of that. All that you get all that variety of tracks in one series. So that's also very, very intriguing. IndyCar, I would say, if you're a purist and love your racing pure, IndyCar is a very pure racing series. There's very limited gimmicks. You do have different tire compounds, but F1 has different tire compounds too. And IndyCar, you usually have two. You usually don't have different tire compounds in oval races. Um, you don't have gimmicks like stage racing like in NASCAR. You also don't have playoffs like NASCAR does. So it's a very pure form of racing. The championship is a year-long thing. Whichever driver performs the best throughout all races, they're the champion. Simple enough. You also have real strategy. There's a lot of strategy that goes on to these races. I think about to a few weeks ago in mid Ohio when Alex Pillow, I mean, he's been dominant all season. He made he had a different strategy than his teammate Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon played the strategy right, and of course, with the help of Alex Pillow being human and running off the track, Scott Dixon was able to win with a different strategy than his teammate Alex Pillow. So you have a different variety of that. And again, there's also a lot of wheel to wheel battles. So you're going to have drivers that are on it all the time. It's very intense. Some of these drivers will contest the 20th position. They'll race for it as hard as if they were racing for first place. So again, if you're a pure racing fan, IndyCar is, I would say, a very good place for you to be in and watch. IndyCar is also very fan friendly. Uh, there is an unmatched access when it comes to the fan experience, and it's so different than what I've experienced in NASCAR. I haven't had a chance to go to an F1 race. I'd love to go there, but I think obviously to kind of get the access in F1 that you would in IndyCar, you'd have to shell out a few $1,000s. Uh, what I love about IndyCar is like they're open, like their garage, their paddock is open. You can go in, you can buy a ticket. Some of the tracks offer some days where you can go into the paddock for free. Like I know Barber Motorsports will do it on Friday, the day of the practice sessions. You can go in free and you can go look at the mechanics work on the cars. You can go look at these cars. They literally will, when they go out for practice and they're rolling them out to the grid, they will literally like come within a few inches, the tires will, of touching your feet. So you got to keep your head on a swivel if you go to an IndyCar race. What's also cool is that you also have the opportunity to meet drivers. And IndyCar does something really amazing. Every race that they go to, they'll have a full field autograph session. So you'll have the chance to meet all the drivers at an autograph session. Usually it'll be maybe the Friday or the Saturday of before the race that you can meet them. If you don't meet them at the autograph session, which by the way, that's free, but if you don't meet them at the autograph session, you can access them pretty easily in the paddock. And they are very open to having conversations if they have the time. Obviously, if they're in a rush to get somewhere, they may not be able to, but they'll gladly take pictures with you, selfies. They'll sign whatever you have, a checkered flag, a little model car, diecast car, whatever it may be. So you get to come really close and personal with these drivers. And that's what I love about IndyCar. And the drivers are so amazing. They love to spend time with their fans. Another thing that also is very intriguing about IndyCar is that they actually are very affordable events to attend. Most races are actually cheaper than a concert or even a football game. Like you could buy, I'm thinking just Barber because that's the track that's closest to me. You can buy a ticket for like $45 or $55 on race day. That's not a lot. Nashville, I think, is pretty much around the same price. So it's very affordable. And then you can add on a paddock pass, if you want to have access to the drivers and to the paddock and all that. And it's a great environment to bring a family to. I would say IndyCar is much more fan friendly. There's a lot more events, and it's just so much fun. Also, kind of going off what I talked about earlier, but there's really no velvet ropes, unlike Formula One, where you'd have to pay thousands of dollars to get this access. You can go into the paddock, drivers will sign autographs, they'll walk among you. Sometimes you won't even notice that they'll be walking among you. You'll be in the fan zone and you'll see Pato O'Ward in his scooter zooming on by, or you'll see, other drivers coming by. IndyCar truly feels like a community. It doesn't feel like a closed club. And that's what I love about it is that IndyCar welcomes everyone and the fans are amazing. They will welcome you in and make you feel loved. So, you may be wondering, why am I so passionate about IndyCar? How did I get into IndyCar? So, I was a casual viewer up until 2018. I would really watch the Indy 500 every year from like 2008 to 2018. And that pretty much was the only race I would watch. But in 2018, I had the opportunity to go to Barber Motorsports Park, which is kind of close to where I live. And I remember going in there and I had no idea what I was walking into, but I immediately felt the welcoming atmosphere that IndyCar is. And I remember going to the autograph session. I was like, well, this will be great because I get to meet the drivers. I knew some of them kind of my name, but I really didn't know them. And so I got to go into the autograph session, and I remember one encounter, Joseph Newgarden. This is in 2018. So Joseph had just come off winning his first IndyCar championship. And I remember going through the autograph line, and Joseph Newgarden was so welcoming. And he's like, hey, where you from and all that. And I was like, well, hey, Joseph, this is actually my first IndyCar race. He's like, no way. Oh my goodness. Like, you got to go check this out. Sit over here to get the best view. Like he probably literally stopped the autograph session for like 2 or 3 minutes talking to me about like what I need to experience and all that. And ever since that day, I've been a huge Joseph Newgarden fan. He is so good with the fans. A lot of people don't know this, but Joseph Newgarden will actually stay. If he has time, he'll stay after the autograph session ends and he'll just sign for as many people as he can before he has to go back. That's the type of person Joseph Newgarden is. He is amazing. He's an incredible human. He's very passionate about his racing, but you want that in a driver. And so I don't think I would be such a huge IndyCar fan if I had not had that encounter with Joseph Newgarden in 2018. Joseph Newgarden made me an IndyCar fan for life. And every time I see Joseph every year, I tell him, Joseph, you're the reason why I love IndyCar. You're the reason why I'm here, passionate about it. So I'd love to cheer on Joseph Newgarden and everything. And just seeing the cars, it was so different than what I was used to. Again, I grew up watching NASCAR. So seeing the cars and the speed and the sound, it was just so amazing. And again, the access, getting to go into the paddock and see the mechanics working on the cars and just seeing these cars up close and personal. You don't get that in a lot of racing series. And that first weekend just made me more of a fan of IndyCar. And it truly made me invested into IndyCar. I would recommend, if you have an opportunity, go to an IndyCar race. It is amazing, very welcoming community. The drivers are amazing. Everyone's amazing. It's such a good time. You may be wondering, well, I'd love to get into IndyCar, but who are some of the drivers that I should pull for? Again, I mentioned Joseph Newgarden. He's a two-time champion, two-time Indy 500 champion. And so he's basically the American face of IndyCar. He's from close in Hendersonville, Nashville area of Tennessee, and he is amazing. He is a hard racer, gives it 100%, very passionate, and I love that. I love that about Joseph. You have Pato O'Ward. He drives for Arrow McLaren. So some of you in the Formula One world, maybe that McLaren name kind of rings a bell. So Arrow McLaren is the IndyCar team of McLaren, kind of the F1 team and all that. He is fun. He is fearless. This guy will drive a car like no one else can. He is emotional. I love that. Not emotional in a bad way. Like he is like he shows his emotions on his sleeve. He doesn't hold back. He says what's on his mind. And I love that. And he is great with his fans. He is amazing with his fans. I'm a Pato O'Ward fan. I've got that connection because he's from Mexico and I have family roots there. So it's fun to cheer on Pato, and he's just been amazing. Alex Palou, he's been very dominant this season. So if you're looking for somebody to pull for that's going to win a lot, maybe Alex Palou is your guy. He's very calm. He's super consistent. This guy has won so many races this year and is on track to win his fourth IndyCar championship. So that may be somebody you want to pull for. Maybe somebody like Colton Herta. He's got a lot of talent. He drives for Andretti, and he's amazing at road courses and street courses. But he's also been good at ovals. He got his first oval win in Nashville last season. So he just needs to put a few more things together, and I think he's going to be a real championship contender in the next few years. Scott Dixon, he is a living legend, has close to 60 wins, and he is amazing. Like he is so level-headed. He kind of reminds me of Alex Palou a little bit, just with how consistent he is, and he always finds a way to be up front at these races. So don't sleep on Scott Dixon. Also, some up-and-coming drivers, some young drivers that are still have a lot of potential. Drivers like David Malukas, he has an amazing personality. Marcus Armstrong, Kyle Kirkwood, he's won a few races this season. Scott McLaughlin is one of my favorite drivers to root for. He's from New Zealand. and I just love his personality. He's just so cool. I love his vlogs on YouTube. Felix Rosenquist is also somebody that has a great personality. Really, almost all the drivers that I've encountered have an incredible personality. So just choose someone that you connect with and, somebody maybe that matches your personality or your vibe, whatever it may be. There's no right or wrong reason to pull for a driver. So those are some drivers. But how can I start watching IndyCar? Well, IndyCar this season, all the races are on Fox, so national television Fox. If you're international, you can watch on IndyCar Live, or there's some other options available for you there. And there's a few more races left in the season. The IndyCar season is very short compared to other series. They start kind of in late March or early April, and they'll go all the way through the end of August. So not a really long season. There's about 16, 17 races, but it's so much fun to watch. But some of the upcoming races for the remainder of the season: Portland, that's a road course in Oregon. You have Milwaukee, that's an oval track. That's a fun race. Last year was an incredible race, and so you'll definitely want to tune in for that. And the championship race, the season finale, will be in Nashville. That's on a oval track, very high speed. It was a fun time last year. I got to attend that race. And if you're looking to go to a race, I would recommend Nashville. It was a good time. It really was. If you want to get to know more about IndyCar, why the Indy 500 is so important, and we're going to do a future episode on the Indianapolis 500, but you could also watch some series, kind of like a Netflix Drive to Survive, but a little bit different also. There's a series called 100 Days to Indy. There's 2 seasons that are available on the CW app, and it's free. You can watch those. So check those out. You get to know some of the drivers like Joseph Newgarden, Pato O'Ward, Marcus Ericsson, Scott McLaughlin. You'll get to know these drivers, and maybe that'll help you pick a driver to cheer for in IndyCar. There's also a season 3 of 100 Days to Indy. That's on Fox Nation. Haven't gotten a chance to watch that yet, but hopefully very soon. And I would also recommend following these teams, following these drivers on social media for behind the scenes content. They have incredible personalities, and so follow them. Some of the ones that I think about like are good follows on social media are Pato O'Ward, are Scott McLaughlin, maybe Joseph Newgarden, David Malukas. He's a hoot. He's amazing. But yeah, just check out some of these teams: Arrow McLaren, Chip Ganassi Racing, Team Penske, AJ Foyt Racing. There's a lot more, Team Meyershank Racing. Check out their social media and check out some of their behind the scenes content. So I've made my case for IndyCar. And again, you don't have to give up NASCAR. You don't have to give up Formula One to watch IndyCar. Just make room for IndyCar, all right? I enjoy all 3 of the series. I love IndyCar, though, because it's authentic, it's very competitive, and hey, it just might be your next favorite series to watch. So I'd love to ask you to tag me on social media, On Track with Noe. You can find me on Instagram, X, or TikTok. And I'd love to know, who is an IndyCar driver that you pull for? Or maybe share your first IndyCar experience, or share about an IndyCar race that you'd love to attend. I know for me, on my bucket list, Indianapolis 500, it may happen soon. We'll see. But I'd love to connect with you and continue the conversation there. So again, follow me on Track with Noe on Instagram, X, and TikTok. And I made my case for IndyCar, so check it out. Let me know what you think. But I'm excited for our next episode. We're going to talk about driver loyalty. How do certain racers become part of our story? Why do certain drivers become our favorite drivers? From Dale Jr. to Pato O'Ward. I'm going to share some of my personal stories in our next episode. But until then, this has been On Track with Noe.